Hello guys, and welcome back to another class of our course about the complete introduction to data science. So in today's class we are still going to talk about Seaborn, and we are going to talk about another type of plot that you guys can create inside of this amazing tool. And basically this plot is called the join plot, and what I will do, it will put dots inside of the graph. So basically those little dots you'll see, they will allow us to understand what is the relation between two variables. So for the purpose of this example, I'm planning to use the tips database. So basically if we go in on GitHub on our databases that we will use, it's gonna be the databases right here. So basically it's gonna be tips. You'll see it's pretty simple to understand. So the first thing that we'll do is we will import our database. So how exactly do we import it? So it's pretty simple. We want to create a variable. So in this case, we'll create our variable that will be called database as always. And we are going to make a reference to Seaborn. So basically we start our sentence with SB, and we want to load data set. So what data set we want to load? So in this case, we want to load tips, which is one of the data sets. So if you guys want to work with something else, you can, but for the purpose of this example, we are going to work with tips. So if we print everything, so if we print our data set, so in this case, if we print the data base, here we go, we'll see what this database will look like. So as you can see, here is our data set. So pretty simple. As you can see, we have our total bill, we have our tip, we have if it's a male or a female, we have if the person smokes or no, the weekday, if it's dinner time, and the size of the table. All right, so what we'll do right now, we'll simply calculate what is the tip based on the total bill. So if the tip is higher for a higher total bill, or if there is a relationship between the tip and the total bill, or if there is no relationship between those two. So how exactly we'll do this? It's pretty simple. So we will create a join plot. So basically you'll see this type of graph is pretty interesting. So how exactly we create it? It's pretty simple. Once again, we need to make a reference to our Seaborn tool. So we'll start our sentence with sb.join. So basically join plot, which is the type of plot that we will use. Then right here, we have three arguments that we need to write down. So we have our x, which would be our first argument. And in this case, what we want to have as an x, we want to have tips as an x. So here we'll have tips as x. Then the second argument will be our y. So inside of a graph, we have our x and we have our y. So in this case, what we want to have as y? We want to have the total bill. So we'll write it down, total bill. Then the last thing, we want to know from where exactly the data is gonna come from. So in our case, the data will come from database. So from here we will have our database. So basically, if you guys have more than one database, you can choose from where you want to have your data coming from. So in our case, we want our data to come from the variable database. All right, so we have everything that we need. Next thing that we want to do is simply run our graph. So basically, simply write down plt.show to be able to see your graph. So we can run everything. And as you can see, we have our graph right here. So right now, it's time to understand what we have just generated. So right here, we have our total bill, and right here, we have our tip. So basically, the majority of the tips are somewhere around here. So we have a tip of $3. Basically, that's the average if we want to see. So the majority is somewhere right here. And as you can see, the more the price of the table is, the more the tip will be high. And the less the price of the table will be, the less the tip will be. So basically, we have our extremes here. So we have our lowest extreme right here and our highest extreme right here. And on the other hand, for example, we have some other extremes. For example, right here, we have a tip of $5 for a meal that doesn't even costed $10. And we have another extreme right here of a tip of less than $1 for a meal that costed more than $30. So basically, as you can see, yes, there is a relationship between the tip and the total bill. and we can see it directly inside of this graph. So basically we can automatically see that the more the tip costs, the more the total bill will be high. So basically, well, the more the total bill is high, the more the tip will be high in this case. So yes, we have extremes, but once again, it's important to understand that in the majority of cases, so in this case, somewhere around 80% of cases, this is respected. So basically, the more the total bill is high, the more the tip will be high. So this is basically how we can analyze data in a basic way. So I hope you guys understand right now how to make a joint plot, or this type of graph in other words, and how you can understand it and be able to work with this type of graph. So that's it for this class, guys, and see you all in our next class.